just prepping to make some more bread. Recipe number 2 from Bernard Clayton's complete book of breads called 30-minute bread. Just greasing my pans because it's gonna rise in the pan instead of in the bowl. I want you to be aware that this is a knife sharpener and this is a frying pan. I'm filming you through my hanging pots. And here's Jean-Luc. Hello Jean-Luc, how are you today? He's drinking some tea. So we're gonna get started on mixing all this crap together and coming up with a couple of, again, white, fluffy, sweet, soft sandwich loaves. This bread comes together very quickly and you don't have to wait too long for it to be ready. So we're all looking forward to some nice fresh bread, and as I've been saying, I hope that I can get rid of at least one of these loaves so I don't end up eating a bunch of white bread for the next month. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy this. Subscribe, like, comment, all that crap. You know, do what you gotta do. Don't do it. I don't care. I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm having a good time. Here's the book. Here's the recipe. This is one of the simplest recipes of all time. It's only like a page, which most of his breads are like 3 or 4 pages long. So it's kind of nice to have a nice, simple white sandwich loaf. So. Okay, we start off with heating up a cup of milk. We're going to add our butter. The butter's already soft, but we're kind of making it a little softer by adding it to the milk. I'm turning off the milk because I just want the milk to be warm, not piping hot and boiling, because I still have to add yeast to this and I don't want the yeast to die. So we've softened up the butter. I'm going to add some salt and some warm water. This is a lot of liquid, so it's going to take a lot. I'm going to mix this all together. And then I'm going to add my sugar and my yeast. And we're just going to stir it to dissolve the yeast into the liquid here. Once I'm done combining that, I'm going to transfer it all to a mixing bowl. And we're going to add 2 cups of flour. I'm going to turn this down so you can see. You can hang out with Jean-Luc. You can hang out with Jean-Luc while I film. Okay? Got our flour, 2 cups. Now, this is kind of an important part. You want to mix this together. You want it to get real nice and silky, like a batter, like a silky batter. So you're going to mix it quite vigorously. Because I don't have a mixer, I'm doing this by hand, and the recipe suggests 150 strokes. So go ahead and count. I think I did it 150 times. Ooh, so smooth. Smoother than pancake batter. Now I add 2 more cups of flour. Measure out 2 more cups of flour. There's a lot of liquid in this particular bread, so it's going to be a thirsty lady. So you repeat the process and you give it another 150 strokes. It's a little bit more difficult here because it's a thicker, much thicker batter. So I had to use my muscles, and then you'll see me, I'll have to take a little break there. And then I'm just like whipping the crap out of this bread. Beating. It's much easier if you have a mixer, from what I gather. And then you add a little bit more flour, mix it all up. And this is when we're ready to start our kneading process. There's my trusty mason jar lid scraper. You can't go wrong with that. Well floured surface, as always. Scrape your bowl, get all this luscious goodness out of the bowl. And this is my favorite part. I just really like the kneading part. Putting it all together. You do this for 8 minutes. And I'll give you an ASMR moment of just kneading. So you get to really enjoy this. And when you're kneading this bread, you want to bang it up and down on the counter a few times to really activate that gluten and get it nice and stretchy. Do it a few times throughout the process. After kneading it for 8 minutes, I divide the dough into two for 2 loaves. I try to make it as equal as possible. I never get it right or exact. Then you let it rest for 5 minutes under a linen towel. Okay, I've divided the loaves into 2. They are sort of the same size. I never get them the exact same size, so what you want to do is sort of roll them up into an oval shape, about the length of the pan that they're going to be baked in. Sort of similar to the last loaves I made. Press them flat. Okay. Then you gotta fold them back in half like this and pinch. I'll do it from this side so you can see. Fold in half like this and pinch the seam together. Ta-da! And you have yourself a little ankylosaur shaped thing, kind of like this. Then you grab your greased pan, flip it over seam side down, making sure to fold the ends underneath so that it fits inside the pan. I like to kind of like encourage it to go to the edges a little bit like that. And you repeat the process with the next loaf, making it into an oval, folding it in half, pinching the seam, throwing it in the pan, and then we're going to get it ready to rise. After this is done, I sort of encourage it to the edges again. Anyway, this is a weird bread because you do this weird thing where you brush melted butter on top. This can all be vegan, by the way. You could use shortening instead of butter. You could use plant milk instead of regular cow's milk. And when it comes to the melted butter part, I have used vegan butter in its place and it's perfectly fine. It's just you gotta watch your salt content because a lot of the vegan butters have like loads and loads of salt in them. I feel that they're very salty, obviously compared to unsalted butter, which is what I normally buy for baking. Okay, this is the weird part. You have to put it in a cold oven like this. 2 loaves. Then you turn your oven on to 400 degrees for 1 minute. Exactly 1 minute. All right, we got 15 seconds left on this heated oven rising thing. I'm very curious. So you let it rise. After 1 minute, you turn the oven off. Just wait. We're waiting. Okay. Cancel. I've turned the oven off, and now I'm going to set my timer for 1/2 hour. And that's your 30-minute bread. You let it rise, and then we'll come back to it and cook it. Let's see how it goes. Okay, Bread's been rising for half an hour. I'm gonna put my oven on. It says to put it on at 400 degrees. And I think you leave the loaves in. It wasn't really clear in the recipe book whether you leave the loaves in the oven or you just turn the oven on and let the loaves stay in there while it's heating up. I'm assuming that's what it means. So it's sort of like a second rise in the oven while the oven preheats. So we shall see. Here we go. Ah! And then you cook that for 45 minutes. But you know what? I'm going to check it in 30. I always do this. Okay, good. 30. All right, let's see how it goes. I'm going to turn the light on and have a look inside and see what it says. What it's doing in there. And hey, check this poster out. One of my favorite Peter Greenaway movies. See you soon. Beaky Boos. Here we go. Let's check it out. Oh, look at this. Like that? I should probably like do something about that. Okay. I'm going to admit I'm not like crazy about the rise on these. I'm very accustomed to doing a double rise on breads, which is pretty average. Sometimes a triple rise. I'm guessing these are done. They're quite brown on top and crispy, so. Very brown. Hello? Hello, are you there? Anybody home? Fresh bread calling. I can't wait. Hot sliced bread. So delicious. Check out this crumb. It smells okay. It doesn't smell too yeasty. I'm not crazy about this loaf. I'm going to admit it. I'm going to be honest with you. I have to be honest with y'all. It's, I think for a beginner loaf, it's fine. The texture is really nice. Have this nice crust. It's still steaming coming out of the oven. Here I am thinking about what I could have done differently with the loaf. I could have probably let it rise a little bit longer or let it rise outside of the oven while the oven preheated. I'll try that next time. It's very rich. It has whole milk and butter. And I put butter on top. The crumb is really nice and firm, but it's fluffy at the same time. Like it's soft and firm. Like a Tempur-Pedic mattress. And the crust is really nice and crispy, but not super crunchy. Not hard to bite through. Nice mouthfeel. All in all, a successful loaf, but a strange experience to have it rise in the oven like that on its own and then through the preheating of the oven. So I don't know. If you're looking for something easy and quick, I would definitely recommend this. If you need to feed people in a hurry and you only have a couple hours to make it happen, this is the loaf for you.